In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can love yourself more, how to have more self-love, and how this can be the ultimate secret to your life that you've been missing to really make that shift that you really want, to live a better life, to have the better career, to have the better relationship, to make more money, and anything else that you want. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one to let go of your ego, reprogram your subconscious mind for success, to create the life that you really want in your business, in your social life, in anything, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. So you got to realize self-love is incredibly powerful. It's very important because how much you love yourself will directly connect with what you allow into your life, who you let into your life, what career you tolerate. You see, a lot of people keep bad things in their life because they don't love themselves enough. They hate themselves unconsciously. And what that does is that keeps negative things in your life for longer than needed. People that truly love themselves don't tolerate or keep negative things in their life. They cut it out. They cut it out in a loving way, not in an egotistical or judgmental way, but out of love for themselves. You see, it's not about hate or judgment towards somebody else. It's about loving yourself. That's what this is about, loving yourself. Now, the first way to have more self-love is to create space from the world. Okay, this is a big part of this because some people are afraid to create space. They're afraid to actually create space. They're so involved in other people's lives, helping the world, hanging out with all these. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being in the world. But to have some self-love, you need to give yourself some space. You need to give yourself the time. You need to give yourself that space. Separate yourself from the world just a little bit. Connect with who you really are. It's beautiful to connect with other people. It's beautiful to connect with friends, with family, but how about yourself? How about yourself? How about connecting with yourself, right? It's great to connect with friends, with family. How about yourself? How about you? How about yourself, who you really are? Now, who you really are is much deeper than the concept of yourself, but still, you need to connect with that deeper space within you. Create space in your life. That's the key here. That's the key here. That's the first step to this process. Don't be afraid to create space because people can drain your energy. And here's the thing. If you don't love yourself, you can't love the world. You see, if I don't love myself, I can't give love in these videos. I can't spread love. My love is posting a video daily and taking all these calls with clients and doing all these things that I'm passionate about. That's me spreading my love into the world. But I can't do that unless I love myself first. I literally have no value to give you unless I love myself first. It's impossible. So I'm all for being selfless and helping the world, but that cannot be done unless you create space and love yourself first. Yourself, okay? Now that's huge. Now you gotta realize that all the ego wants is more love. So many people are wounded on this planet right now. They're wounded carrying all these past wounds, all these things that happened in the past, all these traumas. And how do you fix that? How do you get out of an angry situation? Does it work with more anger? Does anger versus anger equal love? Or does it add, it's almost like taking gasoline, just like you're like throwing in gasoline into the fire. That's not love, that's ego. Now, how do you let go of the ego? How can we remove and let go of these negative emotions, these negative habits? By understanding this insight right here, the ego wants more love. That's all it wants. Whether we're talking about your ego, your family's ego, your friend's ego, your partner's ego, all it wants is more love. Think about it like this. Everything that you do in your life is to get closer, to feel good, right? Isn't that why you're on this planet? To feel good, to feel better. And so what I'm sharing with you is that what the ego really is chasing after is more love. Whether that be through relationships, through fast food, even through all these negative, crazy things that some people think are negative. Nothing happens by accident. As human beings, we're drawn towards pleasure and we run away from pain. But you gotta realize sometimes the counterintuitive move is to love that pain. I know how that sounds. It's like, what? How can you love the pain? You gotta realize the only way to let go of those wounds is to give it love. How do you help an angry family member? You give them love, not by throwing more pain onto them. More pain on top of pain doesn't help pain. The pain wants love. The wounded ego wants more love. That's all it wants. So that's why I need to create space too, because if you don't create space, you can't give that pain the space to experience the pain. You see, when people have pain, they have wounds. A lot of empaths have wounds. They're afraid to feel into the pain. A lot of human beings are afraid to feel into their wounds, to look at the part of themselves that they're afraid to look at. But you gotta realize that's how you love yourself. You love yourself by nurturing that pain, by looking at the pain, giving it more of a softness, being a little bit more feminine. Even if you're a man, don't be afraid to bring femininity into your life. Embrace your masculinity, but also don't be afraid to be feminine. Don't be afraid to tap into your feminine side, okay? Because you gotta realize the ego wants more love and you have to give it love. You're not gonna let go of your wounds by hating on yourself and judging yourself. You're not gonna let go of that toxic relationship by judging yourself or judging that person. You're not gonna let go of the toxic fast food you're eating by judging yourself for eating it. You only let go of these things by loving yourself more. Okay, that's a huge key. The ego wants more love. Now here's the ultimate key. How can you give the ego more love? What's the process, Francis? How do I do this? Well, you got to realize that when you begin to raise your vibration, you automatically love yourself more. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. When you raise your vibration, you automatically love yourself more. What I noticed in my life is that when I began to prioritize raising my vibration, connecting deeper to the present moment, what I found is that naturally I would not tolerate things in my life that I used to tolerate. I wouldn't keep negative things in my life anymore. Toxic relationships. Okay, eating fast food. Doing something that I hated in school out of fear for what I really wanted to do, not working out. Fear that my dreams wouldn't work out. You see, when you raise your vibration, it's almost like you naturally begin to let go of what doesn't serve you. Why? Because you begin to love yourself more. There's a correlation between how high your level of consciousness is and how much you love yourself. These things are directly connected. How high your consciousness is, not how good or bad, but how high your consciousness is, how much awareness you have, how much development you have in your soul, so to speak, in your awareness and your consciousness, you will love yourself more in that process. That's how it works. When you are connected more to the present moment, automatically you love yourself more. Basically, consciousness is love. That's another insight. Consciousness is love. When you begin to raise your consciousness, you begin to raise your love, period. That's the key. And a lot of people won't share this with you, but this is the key. This is the ultimate key. I'm not beating around the bush in this video. I'm giving you the core, hard truth. Consciousness is love. I'll give you an example of this. I said the ego wants more love, right? So when you're sitting there and you observe that pain, let's say you're meditating and you sit there and what's the counterintuitive move to let go of a heavy emotion? You stop resisting it and you accept it, right? So when you're doing that, what are you really doing there? When you're sitting there in meditation and you're observing those negative emotions and allowing them to be there, what are you really doing there? You're giving yourself love. You're loving yourself. You're literally giving yourself love. When you sit there and meditate and allow that emotion to be there and with full acceptance and consciousness, that is love. That's love at its finest right there. You're literally loving yourself. That's pure love on top of the on top of the evil, so to speak, which is your ego. Not really evil, but those dark parts of you. When you shine the light on the darkness, you're giving love to the darkness. You're bringing love to the fear. You're loving the fear to death. And the key here is to raise your consciousness, because consciousness is actually love. When you raise your vibration, you will not tolerate that person that you don't like. Think about it like this. If you truly love yourself, would you hold on to that toxic relationship? Would you hold on to people that are abusing you or emotionally abusing you? Hopefully not physically, but let's say somebody is. Hopefully they're not. Let's say somebody is in a person's life where they're physically abusing them. Would they really keep that person in their life if they love themselves? You see, a lot of people keep certain people in their life. They keep certain habits in their life. And this may be a little bit more negative, but I have to speak my truth and say to you, when you love yourself, you do not hold on to things that don't serve you. You will let them go. We only hold on to things because we don't love ourselves. It's a lack of self-love. It's a lack of self-love. Okay? Now, when you raise your consciousness, you naturally let go of those things. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful what happened in my life in the last year. The things that I've naturally let go of, and then the space that I created to let my dream life to come into being, my dream job, making a full-time income, coaching people one-on-one, creating YouTube videos, doing what I love every single day. That came out of love. When the more that I love myself, the more that I align with my true purpose and my passion. And anyone can do this. It's just about prioritizing the right things. Prioritize love, and you will be aligned with your dream life. I've said this in a video in the past. Your highest possible dream life and your best version, the best dream life, the best timeline you exist, will be an embodiment of your self-love. So your dream life will be a result of how much self-love you have. Your dream life is a result of you embodying self-love. The level at which you embody self-love will also be how much success you create in this world and how much you enjoy your life. What you can create in the world, even externally, how much money you create, the relationships that you have. Self-love is huge. And you see, a lot of people think this is a cliche topic when literally self-love is critical. It's critical. It's critical. It's almost as critical as consciousness, because those things are almost the same. Have you ever looked at a plant? You ever heard that study where you look at a plant, and when you say I love you to the plant grows better? Why is that? Because everything wants love. But what is love? Love is consciousness, and love is attention. When you give your attention to something, you're giving it love. That's what that means. When you give your attention to a plant, it grows better. When you give attention to your ego, it grows better. That's what meditation really is. So here's a powerful insight that I had the other day that I want to share with you, okay? What I learned is that meditation is the highest form of self-love. That's the conclusion I've come to. There's no possible habit that you can do that is more powerful and is a higher version of self-love than meditation, at least as far as I've come right now. If anybody else comes up with something else that is more self-loving, leave a comment down below. For me in my journey right now, what I found is that the highest possible version, meditation is the highest form of self-love. That's what I've come to. Because if consciousness is love and you meditate, what does meditation do? Meditation raises your consciousness. So you're sitting there and you're observing all those darkness, all those dark emotions. You're giving yourself love, and meditation does that. So when you're meditating, you're giving yourself love. Literally, you're giving yourself love. When I say the word self, what do I mean? Your ego, the lowercase s, which is the self, lowercase s, you shine your light of consciousness on that. You're giving that self-love. You're shining your light of awareness on the false self, which we call the ego. Meditation raises your consciousness, and that consciousness gets shined on the darkness, which is you being a higher version of you that has more self-love. That's what it is. How amazing is that? How powerful is that? Meditation is the highest form of self-love. That's incredibly powerful. That's a huge insight to have. So I'm happy to share that insight with you, let you know that meditation is the highest form of self-love, at least what I have come across in my journey at this point. Okay? Meditation is extremely powerful, okay? Raising your consciousness is extremely powerful. This is what allows you to love yourself more. If I could give you one habit right now that would allow you to give yourself the most possible love starting today, it would be meditation. Meditation. You sit down, you give yourself love for 20 minutes by meditating, because consciousness is love and meditation raises your consciousness. So that means you love yourself more. And that's me explaining at the logical level, but you'll actually feel this to be true in your reality. When you sit there and you observe those negativities, those darknesses, you're literally loving that part of yourself. You're accepting it. You're accepting that part of your ego that most people are afraid to accept. So to conclude this video, what I want to share with you is that love is very powerful. Love is one of the most important things you'll ever learn in your life. And remember that love doesn't always mean this lovey-dovey, like, I'm gonna love the world. Sometimes love can mean you sitting there and observing the darkness to death, which can be painful. But that's what love is. It's loving yourself even when it's hard. Oftentimes, I'm gonna share with you this last insight before I go. Oftentimes, when we want to give ourselves the least amount of love, when we feel the most dark, when we feel the most negative, my notes just fell on the floor, the most negative, the most reactive, we want to give ourselves the least amount of love is when we really need it the most. Completely the opposite of what the ego thinks. So when your ego thinks, I don't need more love, I need more hate, I want to argue, I want to do this, that's when you need the love. In that moment when you think you don't need it the most. When you feel the most negative, when you feel the most reactive, you feel the most darkness coming up, that's when you need more love. You see that? In the mind, you don't think you need it, but that's when you need it. And that's the best time to meditate, is when you're at the lowest of the low, when you feel the worst. If you're watching this video this far and you feel like you're in a lack vibration, you need more love. Check out my guided meditation. Do some meditations yourself. Give yourself that love. You need it now more than ever. And this is just what I want to leave you with. I want to condition your mind with this insight. When you feel like you don't want to meditate, when you don't want to be present, when you're saying, I don't need love right now because there's too much pain, that's when you need more love. That's when you need more love. So once again, if you want to work with you one-on-one to let go of your ego, let go of the anxiety, reprogram your subconscious mind for success to create the life that you really want, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. Have yourself a great day. Remember to love yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.